Hello, welcome back to day 8 of my daily Transcontinental Race coverage. So without further ado, let's head over to follow my challenge. And as you can see, last night the big question was the Ferry game. Were Martin and Victor going to make it? And as you can see, they're now in Albania. Well, Victor's already in Macedonia. So they made the Ferry. I think Martin got there first about an hour and a half before, and Victor arrived about an hour before the ferry left. He only just got a ticket. I think they were basically just about to shut the windows or the shutters on the ticket office, and he just about did it after a bit of a mess around at the port. As I kind of mentioned before, that the ferry terminal in Barry is pretty disjointed, and the actual ferry ticket office and where the ferry leaves from, they're about a K apart. So you can see where my mouse is now. This is where the ticket office is, down this side of the port. And then you have to ride all the way around to the other side of the port to catch the actual ferry. And obviously Victor went straight this side. Had to go a bit back and forth. It was pretty nail-biting if you're actually watching it. And I'm sure a lot of people were there refreshing the screen over and over. But they both made it, and they both got to Albania, to Durrës about 8 o'clock this morning, and then headed up into the mountains to ride the parkour 5 and then to the checkpoint. Now I'll do a bit more discussion about that checkpoint in a minute, but you can see if I just highlight both of their routes. So Victor and where's Martin? Just here. I'll just show their route, and you can see they kind of did, both of them did the same route, up and back and around. Now I'll dig into that in a little while, and I'll just sort of do a bit of discussion as to why I actually think it'd be quite interesting for the fight for the women's podium as well. Before I carry on, you all know by now, if you've been watching this for the last week or so, POC are sponsoring my coverage. So a big thank you to POC, and today I just thought I'd highlight their brand new helmet they've just released. You may have seen this on some of the riders in the EF Education team in both the Tour de France and Tour de France Femme. So basically it's an evolution of their new Cytal Aero helmet. This is the light version, a few more vents, but basically it's around about 200 grams, obviously depending on the sizing. It could be slightly over or slightly under. So yeah, they say it's for climbing mountains and managing heat, and actually Cynthia Carson, who's currently second in the women's race, she's actually riding one of these in the TCR at the moment. So yeah, that's POC, their new helmet, and of course they've got a sale on, and also for anything that's not in the sale, such as this helmet, there's a 20% discount code, so I'll put the link up on the screen or down below. So let's get back into Italy and do a quick little update with the rest of the race. So at this point, obviously 2 riders across the ferry, and the next ferry is, well, as I record, it's just about 9 o'clock in the UK, so it's 10 o'clock local time, so it's midnight, it's just before midnight, the same as yesterday tonight, and then there is another ferry Tuesday night, so tomorrow night, around the same kind of time, and then from Wednesday onwards they're every 12 hours or so. So I think it's about 1 p.m. and just before midnight. So these are the big gaps, and unfortunately the front of the race has hit these big gaps. So we do have this big split. So it looks like, to all intents and purposes, the race is now between Victor and Martin. However, they put in a huge effort to make that ferry. They got a bit of luck with the wind as well, but they took the risk and they did it. But they still got to get to the finish, and if we zoom out, it's still all the way over here. So there is a very long way to go, and this is the TCR. And a few people have sort of grumbled that, the race is over now and all of this and that, but it's never over until it's over. And anyone who's ridden the TCR can tell you it's never over till it's over. And the further you get into the race, the bigger the kind of collapses and time gaps tend to be if people have issues. So yeah, I mean, we've seen, basically we've got groups on the road now. So I guess what we can call the second group on the road, they're all in the port now. So Christoph Strasser, we saw yesterday, he just knocked it on ahead. I did wonder actually, and a few people wondered in the comments, whether he'd try a different route. So he stayed, where did he stay last night? He stayed here in Termoli, and it shows routes to Croatia on the map. So he stayed there last night. I do wonder if, I searched the ferries and I couldn't see anything running at the moment. I do wonder if he just chanced his arm, went to the port, stayed there last night, knowing he had time in hand to get this ferry from Bari, and just basically went to the port to see if there's any option to maybe get a quicker ferry across and then start riding from Dubrovnik. Doesn't look like anyone's taken the Brindisi ferry option. That tells me that everyone's totally nailed from the race so far. They don't want to ride the extra distance for a small amount of time gain. So we have our Group 2 on the road. So these are essentially, to all intents and purposes at the moment, fighting for third place. However, I wouldn't rule out them maybe getting a shot at a higher place as well, depending on what happens. So Nico Chatelet, who we know was right up there very early on, David Chan, Christoph Strasser, and who else have we got there? I just need to go on the leaderboard. I'll zoom in a bit. Here we go. So Rudolf Manuel and Jocelyn Roth, they're all there on that ferry, and basically their race will restart again tomorrow. So yeah, I guess they've potentially had a bit more of a chilled time getting there. They've all reached the ferry within 2-3 hours of it starting. They've had time for a break, refuel up. They'll get a nice sleep tonight on the ferry. They're going to be much fresher than Victor and Martin were when they arrived. So I suspect this group is just going to be gunning for it, and I suspect someone like Christoph, Strasser, he's won it twice. He's won it twice and finished second once. He's not going to want to do anything less than win. I think he'll go all in to try and catch these guys. I doubt we'll see him sleep very much. He wasn't too far behind them, maybe a couple of hours, so he just would have slightly missed that ferry had he pushed on last night. But he backed off easy. He's basically gambling. He's playing his cards straight now. He's had some big sleeps. Essentially, he's resetting, and he's just going to try and chase him, I suppose, and see if he can get there. A little bit further back, now we're talking kind of the race for the Tuesday night ferry, so tomorrow's night ferry, and that kind of encompasses the first three on in the women's race. So Jana Kessenheimer, she's still leading, and she's leading on that parkour 4 and through the CP at Pacentro. So she's going to be she's fairly comfortably going to make that ferry. Cynthia Carson, again, she is closing on Jana. She had all those problems with tyres. She had to get a new tyre in Italy somewhere around Turin. But she seems to have made some solid progress. And again, it's going to be, starting again at that ferry. So I guess now that it's a case of, backing off and making sure you get to the ferry without exerting too much energy so you're fresh. And then Leah Wilcox, again, she's probably aiming. Well, she is aiming for that Tuesday night ferry. So I think probably with Leah in mind, she actually sent me a voice note yesterday. So what I'll do is I'll just play that out now, and it gives you a bit of an insight into what she's thinking, and then I'll tell you what I think about her tactics and what might happen once we've heard from her. So this was from Leo. It was actually I meant to play it out yesterday, but I just I forgot to do it, in all honesty. But it's still really relevant. So this is what Leo said.
Hey Josh, quick update here. I'm having the best time in Italy. I've been stopping, every time I have to pee, I just stop at a bar or a cafe and buy drinks and food and use the bathroom and keep going because I gotta hustle to make this ferry. But the people are so nice. I stopped in this place and it's like a pizza place, and I was like, how long to make a pizza? And this woman's like 5 minutes, and I was like, I'm doing this race, I can't really take that time. So then I just buy the cold pizza they have and then go to the fridge, and they have all these delicious little fruit juices, and I get like 4 different flavors, line them up on the counter and just pound them all. And they're like two older guys that are asking me where I'm, what I'm doing, and I'm racing España to Romania, and they're getting all hyped up, and and then when I drink the juice, they're just like, sugar, and I don't know, it's hard to beat some fresh peach juice and a piece of pizza. So things are going really well. There's been intermittent kind of rainstorms, but mostly it's been lovely weather, and God, I have not gone into sleep deprivation in this race, and wow, what a difference it makes. So I'm just kind of trying to stick to a plan to get that Tuesday night ferry. And, of course, something could arise, mechanical, another problem, that would kind of stop me, but it's looking pretty good. So I'm having the best time.
So yeah, really good to hear from Leah there, and yeah, she just said interesting stuff. Like it sounds like she's had a pretty solid plan most of the time along to get the ferry tomorrow night, which will basically put her at the same time as Jana and Cynthia. And she kind of backed off quite early on, or certainly whether she got dropped or not, I'm not quite sure. But it sounds like she's just looking after herself, having a great time, not pushing the sleep too much. Obviously, we've not heard from Jana or Cynthia for a little while. But I just think that Leah is not, well, she's not out of it for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if Leah is the next, certainly reaches the next checkpoint in first position. Now, the reason I say this is I've already just talked about this parkour section, and you can see that Martin and Victor went up and then turned around and went back down again. So the parkour's here and the checkpoint's here. Now let's go over to Ribe GPS. It's just a bit clearer. So if we look at the map here, the riders is about 50k through to here, and the actual parkour section is this small section here. And now it looks like there's a road on the map, the SH38, but this is Albania. It doesn't work like that. So the easy, sensible thing would be to plot this route and think, oh, I'll just go straight over this mountain pass directly to Burel. However, the others have gone round, and there is a reason. It's because the road isn't there. So essentially, if I just get the little Google man here, put him right at the top, you can see basically the road just stops and turns into a rocky mountain track. And on the other side, we can see, again, similar, as far as the man goes anyway. It's a gravel track. And I've ridden the Accursed race, which is, through these parts. The gravel can be quite burly at times. It can be rough on a mountain bike, let alone on a road bike. However, the reason I say I think that Leah might be the first one, or the first woman to the next to the checkpoint here, control point 5, is because if you remember way back, I told you about the bike she's riding. She's actually riding the specialized gravel bike with like a short travel suspension fork and some burlier off-road tyres, 42mm tyres, semi-slicks with a bit of grip on. So I think she's definitely going to go over this pass. Cynthia might well do that, but remember she's had these punctures, so she might just be a bit more cautious. Jana's on a road bike. I know she can ride off-road. I've ridden events with her before. She's fairly good off-road, but at this stage, are they likely to want to take that risk? The guys so far have both gone round on this SH1 road and then the SH6 road. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't think that means Leah can necessarily ride away from the others. They do look potentially a bit stronger. And as I said, it swings and roundabouts. The guys on road bikes, or the girls on road bikes with slick tyres, will probably have an edge through this stuff over here. But once you get into the Balkans, the tarmac's rough, the tarmac's, potholed. It's not always good. So yeah, I think it might start to swing towards Leah a little bit. So yeah, it's going to be fascinating to watch. So yeah, it's not just the men's race. Obviously, the women's race is probably going to be more exciting now because there's 3 riders, and it looks like at the moment things are, these two are going to probably split up fairly soon as the fatigue pitches in. So just to finish. I'll run through the social media. So the TCR have their own podcast with on-the-ground reportage, and this is just a little clip from Victor when he arrived at the ferry station last night. So let's just hear what he said.
I'm so happy to be here. Wow, we got the Thai wind. It was a gift of the god. Oh, it was amazing.
That's made the difference of your race.
Incredible, yeah.
You were moving so quickly, Victor. We could barely catch you in the car.
The morning, I talked with a friend, and he told me that I can be at the ferry at the night, and I did it. I did it. Wow, what a day! It was amazing.
So there we go. The tailwinds made the difference there, and fair play to Martin and Victor. I mean, I was saying it was impossible. I think probably a lot of riders thought it was impossible, but they just gave it a good go, and they got lucky. They got a massive tailwind, and obviously rode a long way as well. And yeah, they made it. So let's just have an update of Martin's social media. So this was obviously last night. So the last 3 hours navigating the urban jungle combined with serious sunburn really took a toll. So yeah, it's just one of these things. When you're more tired, it's just, you make silly mistakes like that. Christoph Strasser said it the other day when he was tired, missing turns. You end up going past a turn, turning back round again. It's 30 seconds here, a minute there. It soon adds up to 10, 20 minutes. Getting a serious sunburn, that is going to impact him. I wonder if that's one of the reasons you slow down a little bit today. Your body does use more energy to try and recover from the sunburn. And here's a photo of Martin at the port, looking a little bit tired on the ferry, and this is why. 35 hours 20 minutes, just under 900k, and well, that was pretty impressive riding, and it is going to take a toll. And Victor's done very, very similar, if not a little bit more, because he was a bit further behind. So Victor's probably done almost 36 hours non-stop there. So yeah, they're going to be smashed. So we'll see how they go. And that is the food of champions on the TCR. It's the cookies and 7-day croissant and a coffee meal. So yeah, there's Victor and there's Martin, both looking happy on there, and yeah, they deserve it. They did really well to get that ferry. And I'm just going to finish up, just scroll through the TCR stories, because there's always good images. This is some of the Strada Bianchi in Tuscany. There's Cynthia Carson. Again, she's on that 3T gravel bike, so she might take that more direct route to the next checkpoint. There's Martin buying his ferry ticket. That's David. I think that's pretty sure that's David Chan. Or however you pronounce the surname. Sorry, my pronunciations are not great, even worse in the evening when I'm a bit tired. And here we're seeing various stages of hands on face tired, sleeping on floors, bit of gravel in Tuscany, the ferry port. I think we're going to see a lot of photos of ferry ports. I think we're going to have the whole thing again with the women tomorrow. And yeah, there's some tired bike riders out there at the moment. And yeah, this is Martin as well. So it sounds like he's had a few puncture issues. So this was on or near the parkour section earlier. So I suggest that he's probably losing time through punctures and messing around with that. He's the wrong side of the Adriatic now to get spares easily. So I hope he's got a lot of spare tubes. Otherwise, we could see some serious lost time undoing all that hard work, which is why I say this race is never over till it's over. There's not many bike shops in Albania, and certainly where they're going now, there's not going to be much, probably until Skopje in Macedonia, if that's the way they choose to go. Because, of course, there's various ways to get through that part of the world. Here's Victor getting ready. Looks like he's rocking the skin suit. Aeros, everything. Probably made the difference with a massive tailwind yesterday. And I know those legs and those shoes. Justine Slaveka, here he is, the king of chaos. Sounds like he's just dropping off the pace a bit. I think he was probably quite disheartened with his kind of routing error early on. And now he just seems to be riding it in. But you can never rule him out. I'm sure he'll do a solid ride. He's looking like he'll be on the Tuesday ferry. And it's getting hot, so it's Calypso's down the neck kind of weather. So yeah, really great stuff on the Transcontinental Race Instagram. So check them out, check their blogs out, check out their podcast as well. And yeah, that'll be it for me. I'll be back again tomorrow, and it looks like, well, I'm supposed to be going to the Silk Road Mountain Race on Wednesday, but the race isn't done yet, so I suppose I've got to have to carry on. I'll take my laptop with me, try and do some updates as I'm on my way. I've got a 5 hour layover in Istanbul airport, so hopefully I can get one there, and then probably a couple in Bishkek before I head out into the wilds. So keep on watching, get subscribing if you haven't done already and you're enjoying this, and see you again tomorrow.